What is up, everybody? We have the blog we've all been waiting for. To me, in my X-Men Professor X kit, coming your way right now. I have not read this yet. So we're going to dive in this together. We're going to theorycraft what it could all mean, how it's going to impact the game. This is a big deal. All right, Professor X. Professor Xavier is waiting for your help to set him free. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out our recent blog with the complete Professor Xavier saga details to ensure you unlock him when the event begins. Well, that's kind of a stretch. No one's going to be unlocking him until the event begins unless you're a big spender and getting really good in the leaderboards that are going to be running up until, I think they said April 14th he comes out. But yeah, go check out the video I did on Monday breaking down the event. There's actually really good aspects to this Dark Dimension Saga unlock compared to previous ones. Like, everyone's gonna get to play the mode. There's cool new boss battles, no forced awful characters, no city villain section, so lots of good things along with the Professor X unlock. But let's see how worthy is he? How worthy is he? And like a true telepath, we already know what you're thinking. Just how... Okay, Jesus, crying out loud. Okay, it's time to meet the man behind the X-Men and the most powerful member of Strike to date. Yeah, R.I.P. No. How little your reign was. Who is Professor Xavier? Born with one of the most powerful mutant minds on Earth, Charles Xavier discovered his extraordinary telepathic abilities at a young age, allowing him to read, influence, and control the thoughts of others. Driven by a vision of peace between humans and mutants, he founded the X-Men and dedicated his life to protecting his kind while fighting for coexistence. But as the world's hostility towards mutant escalated, Xavier abandoned old dreams and forged a new path, uniting mankind under the sovereign nation of Krakoa, where he now leads with a bold and unwavering strategy for their survival. Yeah, so they're leaning into the new run of Dawn of X. Great comic book arc. So good. Yeah, a lot more realistic, I would say. More modern, I guess. Professor Xavier enters Marvel's Strike Force as a Omega level controller is important. Because Kahori hits controllers right away, putting an expose on them, right? So you got to keep that in mind. The tags are really important. Bending the battlefield to his will with his devastating psychic mastery, he doesn't just fight his enemies, he outthinks them, sweeping away negative effects, breaking their will with relentless attacks, and even erasing battlefield effects with the sheer power of his mind. I figured he'd get something like this, right? So it'll stop Odin battlefield effect, it'll stop Mephisto battlefield effect. Those are some big ones to name a few. Xavier's telepathic influence extends deep into his enemies, seizing control of their minds. His special mind controls the two characters with the most damage to attack the primary target, reducing the target's max health. His passive is particularly devastating, activating on the enemy's own turn, forcing them to strike their own highest damage ally and also reducing the target's max health. Reducing target's max health, is that the verbiage they use for Mephisto? I think it is. Xavier also manipulates the beginning of the battle with his passive, denying enemies taunt, speed up, or defense up, and limiting speed bar manipulation to only normal means. He shuts that shit down. Okay, so just the fact that he does all this, and if it's not like Howard the Duck, like after he takes a turn, Super Skrull's gonna get speed bar for every single debuff, like if it's the real stopping speed bar and stop speed up for all characters, right away, if the haves and have-nots will determine like the top end of Crucible and War, which it always does. It is what it is. Not even battlefield effects are safe from Xavier's mental dominance. His special abilities wipes the enemy's influence off of his side of the battlefield. But when it comes to the enemy side, he calls upon a trusted ally, Cyclops, Age of X. This unique version of Cyclops is more than just a summoned ally. Let's go! His ultimate shatters enemy barrier, clears their battlefield effect, and then obliterates them with a devastating optic blast that denies revival. That's the second, like, big character with a summon. Like, Nulva's Carnage is one Cyclops. I like that. I do. Because these are the type of characters that should be summoning, like, these badasses. These summons need to be special, though. They need to be more than, like, Doombots, for crying out loud, right? All right. And when Xavier decides to end the fight, he does it with absolute finality. His ultimate ability is a psychic onslaught, clearing all enemy barriers, bypassing trauma, and delivering crushing attack all psychic devastation. If any enemy is under 25% life, Xavier erases them from existence, ignoring death proof and denying revival, ensuring they never... Okay, I'm super curious because when we get to the ultimate, if the words are, you know, do 25% max health, bypasses death roof. It's good, but it's boring. But if it's like under 25% life, dead, permadead, gone forever, and it doesn't say anything about like doing max health damage, that's really cool, and that's something that they can lean into for like PvE content down the line with other creative mechanics along with it. All right, anyway, traits. Hero, Global, Mutant, Controller, Mythic, X-Men. So Hero, Global, of course, Mutant, yes, Controller, okay, Mythic, X-Men. He does have the X-Men tag. So we can boost his health with characters like Phoenix and Jubilee? Okay. Attack primary, okay, his basic, Mental Shock. Attack primary target for 300% damage, plus flip immunity and additional positive effect to a negative effect. Apply slow and 2 bleeds. Striker is gonna go crazy here. If the primary target has disrupted, apply blind. So yeah, flipping the immunity, then he gets blinded as well. This is his basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 lines of text to his freaking basic. This guy's gonna be cracked. All right, if this character has ability block, this character being Professor X, reduce the speed bar of primary target by 60%. What? Clear 2 negative effects from this character. If any negative effects are removed, heal self for 10% of this character's max health per negative effect. Gain evade up plus offense up. What? When this character performs an ISO attack, counter attack, or assist, the attack does no additional effects besides damage. Okay, that's a nerf on the basic. When forced to attack an ally, this character deals less damage to those allies. The attack is unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. His ISO attack target for 225, 17% piercing. Okay. So, his striker attack will not flip. His striker attack will not apply slow blinds, will not apply the bleeds. It won't do the turn meter rewind. It won't give offense up or evade up. So he's not a striker, but like you might want to use his basic. This is a crazy basic. Or if he's ability luck, he's going to have to, and it's going to be devastating. Okay, all right. Not a striker. Definitely not a striker. Unless his damage stat is just insane. Okay. Special, to me, my X-Men. Energy cost, 8 out of 8. Do the following to self and all allies. If this character does not have 2 or more exhausted, okay, so that's Crucible language, right? So you'll still be able to clear him. Clear exhausted and exposed. Wait, if this character does not have 2 or more exhausted, clear 1 exhaust and exposed. So what I'm seeing from this is if you need to do 2 burn attacks into Professor X, you do not let him do this attack on the second hit. So like the first hit, this is 8 of 8, right? This won't clear anything because you're not going to have exhaust yet unless you brought in Mephisto to put an early exhaust on him. Then it's kind of whatever. If this is now the second hit and he does his special, he'll clear that first exhaust and then you risk not clearing him on the third hit. This could also mean you do 1 burn attack into Professor X team and then you hit it with Mephisto. So he has the initial exhaust. Mephisto puts another exhaust. So now he's at 2 and then he won't do this. And then he's exhausted. And has expose if, well, no, because, yeah, it's only a defense. Mephisto does the ultimate with the expose. Interesting, okay. Reduce the duration of all negative effects by 2, plus heal for 30% of this character's max life. Reduce the duration, that's the decay terminology. So that will reduce trauma. He'll get rid of trauma. Do the following to the primary and adjacent targets. Reduce the duration of all positive effects by 2, clear charge. So he has the decay effect both on the negative and the positive, and it clears charged. Wow. That's a turn 1 ability. Apply defense, and this is the one that clears the battlefield in Summon Cyclops, right? Okay. If the primary target or any adjacent targets are controller enemies, apply ability block to that character. Well, now, you wouldn't want to do this to an enemy Professor X, because then they're going to do their basic to you and rewind you a bunch. But then they're not doing their special, which has all this crap. Okay. Mirror match, whichever Professor X goes first and does this to the other one, yeah, someone's going to get rewound and covered in debuffs and stuff, but it looks like if you just win the coin flip in the mirror matchup, you're going to win. So it'll be about ways of increasing your speed stat, since you can't gain speed bar or getting speed up, but he stops speed up. So it'll be like, how do you increase your speed stat? All right, that's kind of interesting. Mind control any 2 characters with the most damage to attack the primary target. Mind controlled characters gain 100% damage. This damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount. I think that's the Mephisto terminology. If Cyclops Age of X is not currently an ally summon, so you can't get 2 of them, summon Cyclops Age of X. The summoned Cyclops Age of X gains Safeguard for 2 turns and defense up for 2 turns. Clear the battlefield effect on allied side. This attack is unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. RIP Weaver, you will not be needed here. Unavoidable means you're done. Ultimate. Psionic Pacification. This is your turn 2 ability. Flip offense down on self. There we go. Clear barrier on all enemies. Reduce the duration of all positive effects on all enemies by 2. Another decay. Another decay. So he's going to be getting rid of your defense up. This is going to hit you hard. Attack all enemies that are under 25% life or 25% targets max health. Boring. Okay, I get it. This ignores death through and passes a trigger when a character drops below a certain health pool. Fine. This part's good, right? Passives that trigger when a character drops below a certain health. So this means, like, if you use this and in-game Thanos hasn't got his passive off yet, it's not going to happen. So that's very handy. So it's not just that it'll kill through death proof, but it does bypass passives. Good. Attack all other enemies for 750% piercing. This is a giant hit. This is an actual giant hit. If this character has any sort of stats, which you know he's going to have a good damage stat. 750% piercing. If he has offense down, he's flipping that to offense up. He's taking away your defense up by decaying it off. And it does 25% on top of that. So it's 25% max health only if enemies are under 25%. Okay, never mind. So this is just irrelevant, right? So it's only if they're under 25% that it does the 750. So if they're above it, it's just going to be 750. But wait, so I'm confused now. This ignores death proof and passes that trigger when a character drops below a certain health. Okay, so maybe this doesn't apply to Thanos? Because if this line predicates this line, and they're part of the same bullet point, then I guess I'm wrong. I guess health triggers that happen above 25% will still happen when you use this ability. I'm not sure I know of any health passives under 25%, personally. I guess like Doc Ock, maybe? The speed bar, but the person would be dead. It doesn't make sense. All right, this damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount. So this is like the perma damage, right? Reducing the max health of the target by the same amount is crazy. So so permanent damage. They're leaning a lot more into that. Interesting. Characters killed by this attack cannot be revived. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. All right, insanity. Professor X, that's the name of this passive. Until this character completes a turn, enemies cannot assist. Enemies cannot gain taunt, speed up, or defense up, and allies cannot gain darkness or slow. Okay, but this is until he takes a turn. So after he takes a turn, all bets are off. We can gain speed up, we can gain defense up, and we can gain darkness or slow. All character speed bar can only be filled or reduced. So same thing. It's until he takes a turn. Here's the thing. I like this because it leaves room for counterplay. It's not all-encompassing. It's not, like, invincible, impossible to defeat. So if you do, like, a burn attack, and then you put the exhaust on him, and then you follow up with a Mephisto hit, there's probably a world where, regardless of the Professor X team, we could 2-tap it, 1 burn attack, 1 Mephisto attack. And that seems pretty good, because Mephisto would, at that point, be, 2 mythic characters behind. I like that. I think this is a good way to make sure that the power leap isn't too much, but also you feel it. Though, I did lose a Crucible match today at the time of recording this because Howard's passive is written like this. And the speed bar only stops until before his first turn. So this is different. At least this is 1 turn more. It's till he completes his first turn. But for Howard does debuffs. So before his first turn, Super Skrull didn't get speed bar. Howard then takes his turn, Super Skrull got speed bar, and wiped me out. So that's the kind of hole in this kit that we can kind of lean into to try and find a good counter for. This is kind of scary. Here's the thing, guys. I felt initially the first Apocalypse, I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought there was lots of counterplay to it, but that in your hands, it would absolutely crush. This seems to be the same thing. So we're going to see if we find low-cost, pretty reliable counters to this character, which may be possible, even though we do have a lot of things sealed up here as far as speed goes. We could see an insane buff to him. I haven't seen this character. I don't know his damage stat. It looks crazy. He's got so much decay features. He's got a lot of on-spawn stopping shenanigans, which is great. His speed set at 127 looks good. His Cyclops probably going to come in and smash. So I'm not trying to put any doubt on what Professor X is going to be like. But this is just something that I always think about because of the buffs that characters like Mephisto and Apocalypse got. All right. On enemy turn, mind control that enemy to attack the enemy with the highest damage. On every enemy turn and apply defense down, the controlled character gains 50% damage for the attack and reduces max health of the target by the same amount. So permanent damage, mind control every damn turn, putting defense down every damn turn, and gains 50% damage. He is Zombie Iron Man on crack with Shadow King ultimate and Thanos ultimate and passives all built in. This guy's crazy. He's insane. Before the mind control, clear barrier on the head. Come on. Fill this character's speed bar by 15% plus flip defense down. Fill this character's speed bar by 15%. What? Which what? The one that... The enemy that's attacking? Wait, or is this for Professor X? I'll ask for clarification. This is weirdly worded. Are we filling the character speed bar that just got hit by the mind control? Is the mind control getting 50% speed bar? Is Professor X flipping defense down? Flipping defense down Professor X, or flipping the defense down that was put on before the damage went through? I am so confused by that line of text. I'm assuming it's to Professor X. All right. After any character uses their ultimate ability, if this character does not have exhausted, bury yourself and all allies for 15% of this character's health. So again, for any character uses their ultimate ability, if this character does not have exhausted, he's going to have the Cosmic Ghost Rider barrier. Get out of here. On his max health? Insane. Reduce the duration of all negative effects on self by 1. Another decay on the negative effects. Heal self for 10% of this character's max health for each negative effect that expired. Are you kidding me? So, you cover Professor X in debuffs, but then use an ultimate. He clears all those debuffs, heals himself for, I don't know, 70% of his max life. What? You're going to have to do a burn attack, or you're going to have to do some sort of crazy mirror. This is going to be at least one burn attack into like a Mephisto, at the very least. Enemies with defense down that normally cannot gain trauma can now gain trauma. Phoenix Force counter, Odin counter. Okay. That is a complicated line of text. So there has to be now a built-in interaction that the game recognizes when there's a Professor X on the field. It basically attacks the passive of Omega Red and Odin. That seems like a complicated communication for the game to do. We'll see how that goes. In Arena, if this character has any mythic enemies cannot have their max health increased through passive abilities. Okay, yeah, that's fine. The focus and damage of this character can only be reduced by negative effects. Damage. There's a character that reduces damage? Probably, I'm just not thinking about it. Alright. Cyclops, Age of X, Professor X's summon. Hero Global Mutant Blaster Exit. Ooh, speed 108. Basic. Primary, attack primary for damage, apply defense down. Special to me! That's turn 1. Apply vulnerable and defense down to the two most... No, so this is Cyclops' attack. Call 2 random attacks to each one of the previous enemies. Okay. Attack primary cannot be counterattacked. Then he's got his ultimate. This is turn 2 on the summon. So we're assuming the summon is going to live to see turn 2. Maybe the summon is going to be like Phoenix, where it comes in with 100% speed bar. I think that'd be okay, because this special doesn't seem too game-breaking, though the calling allies into attack is pretty clutch. We'll need to see the stats of the summon as well. Alright, the ultimate. Clear all barrier and all enemies. Attack for 750% damage, applying slow for 2 turns. So that's the same as Cyclops. Clear all battlefield effects on the enemy side. That's good. Character's kill by attack cannot be revived. This attack cannot be blocked or counterattacked. Okay. I thought there'd be a lot more to this summoned kit. When an enemy attacks a Phoenix ally, Dark Phoenix ally, or Xavier ally, attack that enemy for 250% damage, applying defense down. That attacking Xavier ally is nice. On non-summoned X-Men ally death, gain offense up. Ooh, some more synergy there. This is kind of crazy. So I'm a little wishy-washy on the Cyclops here. I was really excited when I saw it. I hope it's a new costume at the very least. If it spawns in like Phoenix does, Phoenix is a summon technically, right? So if when Professor X does his special, Cyclops comes in and immediately he's at 100% speed bar, this is great. Because then we're going to get these attacks off. Does it apply taunt? It's vulnerable. Okay, apply vulnerable defense down to the 2 most injured non-summon, non-primary target enemies, ignoring stealth. Call 2 random allies to attack one of the previous enemies, attack the primary. So if this summon is not as hard-hitting as like your other characters, like probably not going to hit as hard as Professor X, maybe you're going to have like a Corey there as well, you would not want to target your kill target. You'd want to target somebody else. 750% damage. This summon, if it's got the right amount of damage and it spawns with 100% speed bar, I could see this being very scary. Very, very scary. Okay. But this is insane, guys. This kit is nutty. Wow. So much decay of positive and negative effects. Really countering a lot of the strongest characters in the game by, you know, you can gain trauma now because I'm on the field and, oh god, battlefield effects gone. This is a great character. And it doesn't seem too overbearing. Like, I can see through the tea leaves how I would counter this. I would do a burn attack, and then I'd hit with Mephisto. So now he's got 2 exhausted. He's not going to be able to have the reduction of the negative effects when he does his special. He's not going to be able to... what's the part down here that was super OP? If he does not have... So if he's exhausted, he's not going to bury yourself in allies. He's not going to reduce the duration of negative effects yet again, doing this massive heal. So it seems like where Mephisto was, you have to do 2 burn attacks. There probably is a world where Professor X is 1 burn attack into a Mephisto team, pulling everybody's Mephisto to offense, really kind of validating why they were giving away a bunch of diamonds on Mephisto. I like it. This is exciting. I'm pumped. After reading about the Professor X unlock mode, this just kind of adds to it. I'm excited to get this guy unlocked and curious to know how you guys feel. So let me know in the comment section below, guys, how you feel about Professor X. Is this kid enough to get you out of bed, to get you hyped? Sure is for me. And what do you think? What's the teams we're going to put with this guy? He does have the X-Men tag. Cyclops has some synergy with X-Men characters as well, especially Phoenix. So I could see crafting the somewhat of an X-Men team around him. Old Man Logan's an X-Men. Phoenix is an X-Men character. Nightcrawler's an X-Men character. So I do see a lot of things that we could do here with that. But there's also some just like absurdly strong characters that will feed off assists from the Cyclops that would do a lot of interesting things, set the stage for Professor X. Maybe try and get him energy turn 1 so that he pops off with this amazing ultimate. That's interesting. Very curious to know what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comment section below. But for now, guys, you stay happy, you stay healthy, you have yourselves an amazing remainder of your week. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.